Some big crowds. One of my recollections was we beat File at their place on Boxing Day, and we came out of the changing room drunk. All the committee were bringing jugs of beer into the changing room.
After the game? After
the game, of course, yes. And it was a beautiful Boxing Day, frost on the ground. And there's a line out, 10, 15 yards from my line. The ball bounced down, the File player knocked it forward. I was on the left wing at the time. I ran round the front of the line, picked the ball up, went 75 yards in. I could hear this heavy breathing behind me. I just scored in front of the post, turned around, and there's stand 12 full 30 yards behind me, and 28 players, and the referee stood on the 22, or 25 as it's called then, and the referee blew up and gave us a putting. Oh. I played against Tony Richards, who was a final England trialist, Lancashire player, and it was at the old ground, and I was on the left wing, Tony was on the right wing, and he got the ball, and I went steaming into him, and he saw me coming, and he went to the big arc across the pitch, and I chased him all the way across the pitch, tackled him to touch on the opposite wing, and he said, "Oh, good tackle, Keith." I said, "Get out, you big soft bugger." He said, "Pardon?" I said, "You rest of the game." He looked over his shoulder, came off the other game, I shook hands, he said, "You bugger, Brierley." Just put him off completely. Different game, also different personnel. When I first started playing, you could walk into a clubhouse and you could walk round the clubhouse and you could say, "He's a scrum half, he's a second row, he's a back row." Now, there's just 15 athletes. You cannot tell what position a person plays because of the size. If you're 6'4", you're a second row. If you're 4'6", you're a scrum half. But now you get wingers of 6'4", 6'5". You know, and I thought I was pretty quick in those days and big. I was probably about 13 stone when I played first team. At 100 yards in maybe 12 and just over 12 seconds. I couldn't live with these lads nowadays. They were big, strong, not very mobile.
Not like today? Not
like today, no. Probably the open side was pretty quick. The open side, most teams could play in the centre. But today, they're 5-10 yards faster.
Yeah.
A lot lighter. I mean, you look at Wade. Wade was perhaps the last of the, I don't use the term derogatively, he was probably the last of the Neanderthal second row forwards. You look at our second row forwards now. I mean, Riggers was probably one of the first, 6'7", is he?
Yeah. And
maybe 14, 15 stone. Wade was 19 stone. You could never lift Wade.
Yeah, Martin Johnson came along just after Wade, didn't he?
Yeah, Martin came along.
Yeah.
And then you get Davidson, the Irish second row forward, who went on the Lions tour as a back row forward.
Yeah, Jeremy Davidson. And
he kept, was it Simon Shaw he kept out?
Yeah.
Because of his speed around the park and his ability to jump and be lifted. And you know, that's how the game's progressed. Possibly either John Martindale, who played at Kirkham, or Stan Clark, another Kirkham lad.
Right, and who was the fastest you played against?
I would think Tony Richards from Fylde.
From Fylde, right.
He was quick. And all he could hear when he was running was shh, like a little steam engine.
Right.
But he was quick. Like a shadow of a doubt.
Quick answer.
Oh, and he had hands that big.
Right.
Absolutely strong as an ox. I mean, I was doing judo at the old clubhouse, wooden floors at Lear. And we were locking him out one day and I said, "Frank," I said, "I'll just show you a shoulder throw." Well, like that. He went, "Bugger off." And he threw me across the clubhouse. And I brought forth from about that 5'4" and I bounced across the floor. He said, "You all right?" I said, "Yeah." But he was phenomenally strong. Possibly the one after that was Stan Twelfthall.
Right.
Because Stan was the farming stock and he was totally movable with a scrum. Not very big for a prop.
Forward, yeah.
But once he got set, He was very, very strong. Probably some of the best players I've ever played with. In fact, the best back row forward, and Lee will kill me for this, was John Powell. Sorry, not John Powell, Ian Dyer.
John Powell,
John was a good player, a great player. He's the man who would walk behind you in the trenches, John Powell. But the best swing forward I've ever played with was Dyer.
Right.
He had this uncanny ability to be wherever the ball was, he was there. And Lehman and Johnsfield used to say to me, how's he doing that? And I said, just watch him and learn.
Right.
And he every loose rock and roll, the last player up was Dyer. Right. Played against Gosforth, they were Gosforth in those days. They had England second row, March and Curry played for them. Alan Old played for Middlesbrough. And his brother, Chris Old, well, Chris played for Offaly, I think. But Alan played for England at the time. And a chap called Jeremy Jannin, I think it was. I had a Harlequins of Wash came up on tour and we played against him. And he was one of the biggest wingers I've ever seen in my life. He was probably 6'3", 6'4", 16 stone in those days, which it was unheard of for a winger.
Like a modern winger then?
He was like a modern winger, yeah. Yeah.
Right.
It started, we were playing at Otley. That was probably about 33, 34. Probably my last season. First team, 34, 35. And I was going flat out down the wing in front of the old stand at Otley. Well, I thought I was going flat out. Suddenly this blonde god appeared outside me shouting, Dad! And I looked up and it was Lehman. I said, you cheeky young bugger. And so I passed the ball to him. And his voice in the stand and his broad Yorkshire accent said, "He by gum, father and son played at the same team." And he just stuck for that day.
Right.
I've been called that ever since.
Right.
Now Steve Berry questions than that. He always said, I called it that before Lehman, but so it's a bit of a moot point really. But my recollection, it was Lehman. So as I said, the last game is the 20th of April against Blackpool. And then we'll have a few pints afterwards, and I've been told by Ian Edwardson and Chris Murphy that we're going to town for a curry.
Oh, very nice.
After we had a couple of pints. Only a couple of them, Martin.
Very good.
So that's the end of it here.
And will it be sad to play last game?
Yes, it will. But it'll be sadness tinged with a bit of, I don't know what I'm looking for there. I'm very unusually mixed up for words. Relief and happiness as well.
Yeah.
After playing so long and being lucky that I've been able to play so long. Because all of my contemporaries they've all gone. They've had new knees and hips and goodness knows what. And they're no longer playing. I'm the last of the ones that we all played together in the 70s and 80s. So I'm quite proud and happy that I've been able to play so long.
Yeah.
I'm lucky.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. But I feel humble as well. That I played with some good players, some great players. And also some rubbish players. Which is bound to happen. That's why I'm in the 60s at the moment, and we've got lads there that'll never make it. Lads who are playing like me that have come down, to finish their career off before they make the final hurrah, as it is.
Well, you may have inspired a lot of them to carry on now. Well into the 50s, 60s, hopefully.
Well, hopefully. I mean, John Clark is still playing for the 60 team, and John is 55, and he's tremendously fit. Still a good player, and hopefully he'll carry on to the 60.
Not 70 though.
Not 70.